is Saturday, February 24th, and you are watching You Don't Watch Sports right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. I am Bill Smith, and I am joined, as always, by the man, the myth, the legend, Feo Grande, Omari Ellis. Omari, how was your sports week?
Thank you, Bill. It was all right. It was all right. No complaints for real. You know, I'm enjoying it. Actually, it's been great. I mentioned Capcom Cup last week and been watching
Yeah,
that
we got the Capcom
and
Cup
stuff.
going on. I know there's a lot of stuff shaking around on that.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fun time to be a fighting games fan, I'm sure. We're not going to cover that this week, but we will cover three other topics because this is You Don't Watch Sports, where we talk about three things. We'll be your guiding light through the sea that is sports talk, sprinkle a little information in your sports conversation. Three easy topics to digest and take away from this show. You don't watch sports. You don't have to because you got us. Topic number one, the NBA All-Star game just happened. Omari, it was the highest scoring All-Star game of all time. It's just offense. It's just
It's
offense on
all it is
offense on
now.
offense on smacking offense on Damon Lillard swishing a half-court shot, the most smoothest, beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, to LeBron James doing his signature full sprint murder the basketball hoop slam dunk. What were your highlights from the game? 211 the Eastern Conference to 186 in the West. Eastern Conference takes away this game.
I think it's crazy that Carl Anthony Towns, with his 50 points, his team still lost by damn
Right.
near 30.
Yeah, in a losing effort, Carl Anthony Towns plays, I think, maybe 28 minutes of this game and scores 50 points.
Yeah, so that's ridiculous. It's still crazy the team lost by 30 with that. But also, wait, East and West? Oh, yeah. So that means they got LeBron, Curry, KD, all these people, and they still got outbodied by the East. So that was a ridiculous. But like most people are saying, as far as the All Star game goes, or a lot of All Star weekend, a lot of the effort clearly isn't there like it used to be. But people
Yeah.
also like scoring. So the tryhards who, or not tryhards, but you know what I mean, the super enthusiasts who are like, this is what the sport's about. I want to see the best players putting all their stuff in against each other. What would happen if type deal that the all-star game presents itself as.
Uh-huh.
They kind of get outweighed by the people who are just here to see the stars do shit. Just like I'm happy they're all on the court at the
Right.
same time.
No, yeah, I can
Like the super
understand.
duper casual
I can
spectator.
understand that the mindset of, like, yeah, like you said, like the Clash of the Titans kind of thing of this is literally the best of the best of the best of the best coming together and assembling to play a game. That I completely understand that mindset. I've always been more towards the it's a showcase, so let's lean into the showcase of it.
I'm fine with
I'm
that as
fine.
well.
I'm fine with throwing the entertainment out there, maybe making it goofy, giving it the odd rules. Like, man, when they introduced the year that they first introduced the like playground pick'em
Yeah,
style,
I loved that.
I'm in for that.
It
I
was
am
good
all
for
in for
like
that.
it was good for like 3 or 4 years that they were doing it. Then they just randomly, I guess, stopped doing it that way. Because I thought it was funny the year Harden left KD's Nets to go to the Sixers, and they had KD sitting there trying to pick his team, and they kept trying to make sure that they kept leaving Harden there for him to pick, only to highlight that he wasn't picking him. And then like Chuck and them just start goading him on too, like LeBron, make him sweat, LeBron, make him pick somebody else. They're like, you know what, LeBron, you need size. You need size. That's what you need. Oh yeah, I'll get Rudy Gobert. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I need this person. Like that leaves you with LeBron. That leaves LeBron James with James Harden. And LeBron's like, but he's injured now, ain't he? And Charles goes, oh, he just got traded. He healthy now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that stuff was fun.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. Lean into it. And which leads me to like my usually most of the times over the game itself, I prefer the like skill contest events
Hmm.
going on around the game.
Yeah. Which brings us to our dunk contest, as well as another one. Well, the dunk contest, I believe Mac McClung is the back-to-back winner.
Yeah, he did a crazy dunk over Shaq or some shit. Like yeah,
Yeah,
it was insane. And then
he
yeah,
dunked over
like
Shaq.
did
Somebody dunked over Taco Fall or whatever,
right
and then someone dunked over Kai Sanat in a chair.
also back to
I
back
just remember hearing people talk about that
Was Damian Lillard, who's now back
3 point
to back
competition.
3-point competition. That's pretty
Yeah.
dope. And then
Then there's the
through
guy who
also
didn't.
kind of a 3-point competition.
Yeah, the guy who didn't compete in the 3 point competition because I guess they just won't let him anymore. He
Yeah,
had a
I feel
three
like he
point
just
competition
retired
of
it.
his own. Steph Curry had a battle, had one of those battles of the sexes type deals. It was Steph Curry versus from the WNBA, Sabrina Ionescu. Um, and they had, hey, who's the best shooter? Let's see, shooter shoot.
Yeah.
And they shot from the NBA 3 point line. They each got, I think, like, the same amount of shots or whatever. She shot with WNBA size balls, he shot with NBA size balls. And I believe she went first and got a score of 26. They're like, damn, that's a really good score. Hell, she could have top three and not won the men's 3 point competition this year with a score like that. But it's not a Steph Curry score. I remember one of them said that. That's a great score. It's just not a Steph Curry score. But
Yeah.
Curry came out. He missed a couple of the early ones.
No, yeah. Didn't
But
he have to
he
clean the final rack in order to win?
he didn't have to clean it, but he had to come pretty close. By the
Okay.
time he got to that final rack, I think it was like the third or so of the final rack he got it, but
Okay.
like to tie and win or whatever. It was hella close though. He got
Yeah.
like 29 to her 26 or
Hmm.
27. So it was just like holy shit. But he wins. It was great, and there was a little bit of people getting mad at Kenny because he's like, why don't they let her shoot from the women's 3 point distance? And they're like, what? You don't think she can shoot from that far? She chose to shoot from the men's
Right.
three
I
point
mean, she just
distance.
took him to
And yeah,
like yeah, the final rack of balls.
yeah, she could have fucking won the men's competition. Like
Shut the fuck
shooter,
up, Kenny.
yeah. But it was cool to see that little competition, and the fact that it got to be that close was also nice. So
Nice.
everybody came out looking good, which is always good. Uh yeah.
Awesome. So now that we're all wrapped up, I'm gonna ask kind of similarly to what we did a week or so ago. Do you care?
Not really.
How much were you focused on it? What can they
Uh,
do? Do you have any thoughts on
I like your idea of let's crank up the mini games and stuff.
right?
Um, Also, I think I mentioned it last time. Giving some kind of incentive. I don't even care if it's just a bigger freaking paycheck. Giving some kind of incentive to try in the game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with any of that sentiment. So that's the NBA All-Star game. We're gonna move on to topic number two. Omari.
Yes, sir.
There's something going on in the ceiling and we need to know about it.
I'm not sure what it is. I'm sorry. One moment.
Is it leak?
What the fuck is that?
It's staying in. Whatever it is, it's staying in. Well, no, maybe not, because we might have Omari in his boxers. Whatever it is on his ceiling, he's spraying it with Febreze.
Okay, we're good.
Did you kill it with Febreze?
If it was alive, yes. Whatever whatever it is, it's not a problem.
And we're moving on to topic number two. Omari, baseball is back.
Ah, okay.
Baseball is back.
I know
The
you're excited.
the players have assembled out in their spring training locations, mainly focused in Arizona and in Florida. The first games of the year have already happened back on Thursday. The Dodgers and the Padres kicked off the MLB preseason.
All right.
Um, so things are going strong. Now we talked about a lot of things. We've covered a lot of the big transactions and all of that. I will say one, this time of year, it's always just similar to the preseasons of a lot of sports. You're getting a lot of man, this team feels different. I don't know. There's something about this team, or like reporters saying this guy's in the best shape of his life. You get a lot of those kind of talks right now, but I would say the big news coming out of the baseball world is at the end of last year signed a new branding partnership with Fanatic.
Oh,
Uh
they sports apparel, right?
yes, yes. Now, if you know anything about previous partnership deals with other sports brands and Fanatic, first year often doesn't go very well.
Oh,
Um, and this year with the MLB is no exception, Omari. The jerseys that are arriving at facilities are in a shockingly low quality from the players' perspectives. Um, numbers and names are sewn off center,
oh my
and
goodness.
it's not looking good, and it needs to be highlighted so it can be corrected. We can't go into the season. I would be shocked if they let it go much farther than this. I mean, there are the one of the big issues that we've only just now been learning. First, it was an issue of fabric quality. The players immediately started highlighting that this stuff is not the same.
Yeah.
Things are different here. This isn't the same. I'm not comfortable with this. And then yeah, issues with numbers and names and weird sizing of letters for names and
Um.
weird curvature of arcs of names over on the shoulder blade, all kinds of things like that. But then Omari players started putting on the pants.
Uh-oh.
And you can see everything, Omari. You can
That's not good.
see everything. That
That's not good.
is not good. That is not good. As we've talked about on this show many a times, the biggest star in the world right now should be Shohei Ohtani. We do not need to see pictures of Shohei Ohtani's underwear through his uniform.
No.
Makes us look cheap. Makes us look like we don't know what we're doing. This needs to be corrected, and I wanted to highlight it here. Fix it, Fanatic. Fix it, MLB. Uh, this classically happened almost verbatim with the NFL when they received their first partnership with Fanatic, and it was quickly corrected, although never fully returned to normal. It's a well-known brand to cheapen their product to maximize profit. So these things happen. The last thing I want to talk about baseball wise, Omari, is I kind of want to take these moments here in the preseason while we're talking about baseball to kind of highlight something a little specific, a little off topic, because we know, as we've talked about here, that you're not super deep in the baseball world.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk about Mr. Clayton Kershaw,
Okay.
because despite being one of the most prolific pitchers of our generation, I believe he is still underrated.
Really?
Yes. Clayton Kershaw has decided to come back for what might be his final run with the LA Dodgers. He is currently injured. He is there's talks of him maybe coming back on kind of like a special assignment role late in the season, like starting late in the season, maybe even as late as July, to get his reps in. But just wanted to talk about him real quick because he has had 16 years in his MLB career, won 3 Cy Youngs. A average pitcher will hover around, not even average, a good major league pitcher will hover around a 3.5 to 4 ERA.
Okay.
Some of the best years of their life, they might be blessed to get under 3 for a season. Some of the best years of their life.
All right.
Um, Clayton Kershaw has a career ERA of 2.48. The man the man is on another level, and we don't talk about him like that. We should. He is one of the greatest of all time,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely with a
if
number like that.
and if he hangs up his hat this year, he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should be inner circle Hall of Fame. And despite him being on another team, I know we tend to be a little tribalistic, particularly for sports that have a team here in St. Louis. Um, but it is just like how we gave respect to our man Yadier Molina. It is very hard in this day and age in professional sports to stay loyal to one city and one team. He has played with the LA Dodgers his entire professional career. He has given them 16 of the greatest pitching years ever. Just for S's and G's.
Uh-huh.
Uh one of the names that anybody can pull out of their back pocket at any given time, Nolan Ryan. Everybody
Okay.
knows Nolan Ryan was a great major league pitcher. Um, Nolan Ryan retired with a career ERA of 3.19 while spending most of his career in the 70s and 80s, where let's be honest, the offense, the the physical specimen that is the human
Yeah.
race was not the same as it
No.
is now. Um,
Oaks is
so
built bigger and faster.
yes, so he is going to go down all time MVP, Triple Crown winner, 3 time Cy Young. He has the World Series under his belt now. 10-time All Star, a Gold Glove winner, 5 times ERA title for the league. The man has done everything, and he deserves his flowers. And I just wanted to take some time here to present it to him. Clayton
Yeah.
Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw. I've heard a lot about him. Who was the guy that killed the bird? I know it wasn't Clayton.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson. That was the picture that I. That's one of those pictures where I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. He killed a bird once.
He killed a bird once.
I mean, that was a feat. Just the picture, just
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, Randy Johnson was an incredible pitcher on top of
yeah.
killing a
No, I
bird
know he was a
once.
crazy pitcher,
Um,
but that's just one of those feats that's just like,
yeah.
you know,
Once again, Randy Johnson, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, retired with a 3.29 ERA. It's just different. It's just different. Clayton Kershaw last year at the age of 35 pitched a 2.46 ERA for his 2023 season. 13 wins and 5 losses with 137 strikeouts. He's going to soon pass 3,000 strikeouts. He's going to potentially pass 3,000 innings pitched. It's he's an insane specimen, and despite being one of the greatest of all time, he is still underrated in
underrated.
in my opinion. Thank you,
Okay.
Clayton Kershaw. Third topic, Omari. We got this little other segment that we're gonna go back to from time to time, where we're gonna some evergreen topics that always last, that are always available here in our sports conversation. The debate grab bag.
All right. That's right. And I believe then, we have a lot of debates that people have debated over the years. I believe when we reached into it today, we came up with a topic that we're going to a bit of a throwback topic, but was Tim Tebow a good NFL quarterback? Now, for those of you who don't know, Tim Tebow is regaled as one of the greatest college quarterbacks due to his career at UF, Gators and all that. But he went to the NFL and did not have nearly as much success, despite the buildup from Skip Bayless about him being the next big thing. On top of that, Skip Bayless was the biggest cheerleader for that man that I've ever seen. He tried to do something similar for Johnny Manziel, and that ain't work out even as well as the Tebow did. Which the Tebow one didn't work out. Now, because it's the great grab bag, we got to pick a side to argue. I'm going to argue because, especially the topic here is Tim Tebow a great or elite NFL quarterback, but is he a good one? Based on what little we got to see about him, I think he was okay. He played 14 games. Yeah, he's 8-6 as a starter for his career. So winning record. His completion percentage, not the best. However, he still had about 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, not the best. But he's okay. Given some of the quarterbacks we have in our league today, given the fact that Nathan Peterman still gets a job every season, Mr. 5 picks a game or whatever, he still has a job. There are plenty of people that have a job in the NFL, and I do think it's messed up. The guy, for all that you can't throw, you can't do this or whatever, the one season he actually got to come in and be a starter, he won, the majority of his games, got Denver to the playoffs, and then threw for 316 yards like only the super religious Jesus man Tim Tebow can against the Steelers and won a game. He then lost the next game. They got Peyton Manning the following year. They're like, we don't need you. And so he went to sit on the bench on the Patriots behind fucking Brady. So he ain't going to play there either. And then Belichick, I think, tried to move him to tight end for like 1 second or something like that. It didn't work out. I forget. The bottom line is he didn't do well, and he was gone the following year. No one else gave him a chance to be a backup. No one gave him a chance to start anywhere. He was just out, and it was just assumed that, nope, this guy can't play football. Despite the season when he actually got to start having a win-loss record and stuff. He may not be the best, but he definitely deserved a second chance. And then I don't mean the tight end run he had where he went 0 for 1 target, and then cut from the Jaguars. I mean, he deserved an actual chance, maybe within a season or two of losing that starting job as a backup for somebody. But I'm gonna say he was decent. I'm gonna say he was better than his reputation says.
Well, Omari, I gotta say the different here. Tim Tebow is the luckiest white boy alive. Um, that's his quality of being. Is being in the right place at the right time, being at the right college with the best when the best college coach at the time is there, and you're surrounded by top NFL draft talent all across your roster. Um, yes, he is one of the greatest stat wise NCAA athletes of all time. I'm not going to take that away from him. Has collectively, I believe, over 13,000 yards in his career. from through passing and rushing. Um, that's insanely impressive.
I
But
don't know rushing yards.
it's college football. It's it's not even close to the same beast. You're a big fish in a small pond, and he never had the skills to be in the NFL, and he was lifted up by his looks and religion to receive the luckiest treatment of all time. Anytime like his throws were awful, and his receivers saved him, and then he would receive credit for it. He
He
would
did have
play. He would play.
989 rushing
He
yards.
would play terrible for 90% of a game, and his defense would save him. He did the Patrick Mahomes treatment of 2023. He'd be terrible for 90% of a game, and then defense would save him, and then the last 10% of the game, he would be okay.
Yeah, he
But
was fourth
honestly,
quarter Tebow.
yeah,
You want
but
your
that's
quarterback to win games. That's what he did. He won games. He didn't do it, hell or high water. The game was won. Did he look pretty? No. But you
no.
know what they say about ugly wins and pretty losses?
And let's
Which
talk
one you
about
would prefer to have?
and beyond that, let's talk about the intangibles. Let's talk about the intangibles. Let's talk about how you have to design your offense around Tim Tebow. That Tim Tebow can only do Tim Tebow things. So you can only have Tim Tebow plays. So now you're a Tim Tebow offense and you're a
I
Tim Tebow
mean,
team. And then
a
you got
system
and then you
quarterback's a
got the
system
media.
quarterback.
You
Put him
got
in a system. Yeah, I'm not saying he's some elite quarterback that he is the system. I'm saying he's good enough to be a system quarterback. You put him in a
no, he's
system
not.
that caters to him.
A system quarterback is a phrase where you can plug this guy into any system.
No, it's not. No, they're a benefactor of a specific system. If you put them in a different system, they wouldn't do as well. That's why they use it as a derogatory. Oh, he's just a system quarterback. He's just a benefactor of the system.
I thought it was always just like he's just a nuts and bolts guy. He's just like, yeah, he's you're gonna give him a playbook of handoff, slot, blah blah blah. That one, like all of the
Yeah.
vanilla copy paste plays of the world, and yeah, he can service them fine. I always thought
See,
that
I
was a
always thought it
system
was more
quarterback.
they're a benefit of whatever of like I've always heard it as a derogatory for when someone seems like they're better than they are, but if you move them to another team, they wouldn't be able to do nearly as much. They're like, oh no, he's just good because he's under this coach or he's under that coach. You move that dude to another team, he ain't gonna look like shit.
Okay,
Like that's how I've heard it. Now we both have different definitions of system quarterback. It's kind of like the whole Cam
that's
Newton game
accurate,
manager thing.
and I'm fully okay with being wrong there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know that one. But I do know that Tim Tebow cannot throw a clean pass further than 5 yards without it going to be a lame duck.
hey,
It's
you got good enough receivers to turn those 5 yards into something. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure you could put him in some teams and make it to the. There are a lot of teams who he would have been, especially at the time he got cut. He still would have been an upgrade to what they had,
Mhm.
despite how bad they were. He deserved at least a second chance to have that fully losing season and prove he couldn't. And that's really the only thing I'm arguing. Let's see it happen. Because, I mean,
Yeah, and like yeah, I don't I he's not I don't I'm making the argument that he's not good. And even if he was good, the things that he brings to the team are not worth it. Again, you have to turn your team into a Tebow team, and then you get all of the Tebow shit
yeah, there's
beyond
the
that.
media circus that people talk
Yeah, there's the
about.
specific media people that are just coming because of Tebow. And you're again, then you're the Tebow team.
I still think because of the media stuff and getting people to come to their stadium, they definitely should have let that man sit on the bench as a tight end for that season. because he's from like the Gainesville, Jacksonville area.
Well, the
So
argument
they
always
would have
was
just
that teams were afraid that yes, Tim Tebow is a perfectly serviceable backup, but you can't. That's why he ended up in New England, because the theory was that maybe one of the only places in the country where he could go, and the fan base wasn't going to shout, "Give us Tim Tebow" by the fourth game of the season if they're even 500. Like if it's a basic QB kind of
yeah.
situation or a down start to the year. It's just you never
Also,
want a famous
I
backup.
do want to go ahead. I agree with you. He didn't even get to sit on the bench behind Brady. He got cut before he could even like have any plays or stats from it. He eventually was ejected for his last thing, and they didn't let him do anything either. They just benched him, get him out of here.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah,
he
because
had
I
eight
mean, you
passing
don't need that
attempts.
for your backup court. You like your backup quarterback is supposed to be the personal assistant to the to the starting quarterback, essentially. Like he's not supposed to be the guy that made six extra media people here that also ask really weird questions about like Jesus. Uh, we don't need that here. We don't need that. This is one guy that like we have like an abortion protester out front now all of a sudden. We don't need that.
Fair.
All right. Well, so that's a little tester. We're gonna do that every now and then here on You Don't Watch Sports, where we cover three topics, sprinkle a little information in that sports conversation, give you the guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. You can find us on another show here on the Fail Grande YouTube network called This Guy Hasn't Seen, where we watch a lot of random shit and talk back about it, discuss it. It's kind of like a book club, but a movie club if you get my drift. We pass
Yeah.
things back and forth that the other person has to watch. Preferably, they haven't seen it before, so it's a new surprise for them. Omari, where else can they find you?
You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube, sometimes on the Whatever We Want podcast. I do a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much, as nature intended. You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. So yeah, we're doing
All
good.
right, folks. Have a good week.
You too.